in which we developed applications related to it's related to beauty product, wellness industry, wellness and health industry. So that's my background. Yeah. So can you share about your backgrounds, uh, Shennu and Yasir, so that I'll know how to place the this demo session or and next consequent classes. I'll understand how to continue this. Well, up in what level should I say this? So can you give me your background, Shannu?
Yeah, I'm from basically I have done masters in computer science too, and
Okay.
I have a little bit knowledge of user interface UI, like AngularJS and JavaScript. So,
Okay.
and I'm interested to take mobile applications that will be good for my resume to place in my resume.
Okay. So how much experience do you have with Java? Did you use Java in your studies or at least in your office?
No. I don't have any hands-on experience on it. I had just read in my course projects. That's it.
Okay, okay. So, and about object-oriented programming, how much idea do you have?
Yeah, I know OOPS, Java.
Okay, so
Basically, as I'm from computer science.
okay, so as a concept, you know about OOPS, but you didn't do in real time, right?
Yeah, I know. I have not done in a real time.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Yasir, can you tell me about your background?
I have done masters in computer science. I am also good. I mean, not good. I know the front end like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery,
Okay.
AngularJS.
Okay.
Basics.
Okay. So, yeah. And about object-oriented programming, are you using any object-oriented programming in JavaScript or AngularJS?
Yeah, I know how to use object-oriented JavaScript.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So, so I don't. So in that case, I won't go. You're in the consequent classes. If you, whatever we are taking, I won't go much deep into the concepts of object-oriented programming. But we'll see in the real-time while programming. We'll see how we are using it in the real time. So I won't tell those concepts, but I will use them anyway. So and then about Android. So I'll just give a brief about Android. So and so this session is about a brief about Android and how it's being used now. And then so what I will be teaching and what I will not be teaching. So this is a short session and I'll be covering these three topics. So what's Android and what I'll be teaching and what I will not be teaching as well. Because if you take Android, so this concept is what I will not be teaching. Why this is because Android, if you take it's been more than if you take from Android 1.0, even from the 1.0 version till now, we got a right now we got a preview for Android O. So Android N is Nougat and Android O is they haven't decided any name, but there is a preview out. Developer preview is out. So it's very huge. So in the classes I can't. So in the classes we can't cover everything because there is programming related to Android Wear. So Android Wear in the sense mostly it is into Android watches, and then if you take there is programming related to Android TVs, and then so there are major other than phones, Android is being used in a huge number of electronics. If you take these car audio systems, it's even being used for the cars, and there are even trying to integrate this Android into self-driving cars. So it's being used in a huge number of electronics. So we can't cover everything, all of that, because those things we should learn in the sense it should be self-taught or based on the project. We'll be learning those, and what I'll be teaching is it will be mostly the whatever I teach. I think without any real-time experience, it will mostly be called, I can call it basics, but advanced level of basics. So you'll be able to do the programming. We'll be doing so many. Actually, right now, currently, I'm thinking of 2 projects, but we'll be doing as many projects as required based on the topics we'll be covering. So we'll be mostly doing this one into phones, and I'll go more into details in the session itself. And what I'll not be covering will be NDK level programming, SDK phones, NDK, and then other phones. And a brief about Android. So as I said, it's currently being used in so many electronics. So if you take if you ask me a question, how long Android will be there? So earlier, 5 years back when I started, I thought it will be around at least 5 years, and I won't have to worry about anything in the coming 5 years. So that was my idea when I started learning Android and I started doing this. But if you see now, it expanded a lot and into many areas. So whatever Google does now concentrates, now it makes sure that it will be in a way related to Android. So if you take artificial intelligence libraries, or I'll simply call deep learning libraries, it is making sure that some way it is related to Android, and some way deep learning can be applied into Android. So, and as I said, it will be not just phones, it will be using, it is being used in Android Wear, smart TVs, and even OS extensions are being written in Internet of Things, and then smart cars. So there is a huge array of electronics in which Android is being used now. So that's the reach of Android. So if you are into Android, at least into the next 5 to 10 years, you will not have to think about any other technology. But as I said, you have to apply the knowledge. Whatever I teach in the classes will be mostly, it will be practical. It won't be so whenever I say something theoretical, it will be applied immediately in the next 1 or 2 classes. So that will be the style of teaching. So I'll be programming with you, so you can see the results in real time, and then I expect you also to try it at home, so that only when you do it, you'll know the problems which you'll be facing it. So that way you'll learn. So if you keep learning, you'll be if you keep practicing, you'll be learning more. So if you learn it in the at least the in these classes, if you are at least in the beginner level, as you practice it, you can go from intermediate to expert level. And if you are at the expert level, no one can stop you. So the knowledge with that knowledge, you'll be able to you can try to program in any of these. So always in Android, always the principle is learn the basics perfectly, and then apply it. So until you apply it and until you see it for yourself, you won't improve the knowledge by yourself. So we'll be applying the whatever we learn in these classes, we'll be practicing it in the classes itself. And then actually I'm planning to, so the mode of development we'll be doing is called Android Studio. So it is completely free. So to develop anything in Android Studio for everything, we need to develop in for Android. We don't have to pay anything. So you can directly, if you have a proper laptop with proper RAM, so you can start developing immediately. But you need to download the SDK and Android Studio. So that will be the tool set. It's better. So a tool set will be Android Studio, and actually I use one. I'll call this as every programmer should have one Notepad application. So this is the Notepad application I use. So for anything critical or for anything which we can't do in Studio or for noting anything, we'll be using Android Studio. And yeah, along with Android Studio, we need to download the SDK. So this is the only tool set we'll be using. So, and the extra tool set is, if you have a Android phone, so actually you can see the result. We will be developing in the Android phone. So I have an Android phone. Whatever I'll develop, I'll be projecting it onto the screen. So you'll be able to see what I'm doing, and then I'll tell you how to connect to the Android phone and how you can debug the applications in your Android phone, and and you can also showcase in the Android phones. And then this is the basic tool set we'll be needing. And then other than this, yeah, as a RAM, actually this Android Studio consumes a lot of RAM. So it is best if you have a MacBook, and if you don't have a MacBook, high performance laptop. So this is something we need, or else we can't be much the productivity, it impacts the productivity. So if you have a laptop with good RAM and good processor, then that is best. Actually, I use Windows machine, so I have right now it's not, the RAM I have is not bad, but I can perform well in that, but it's not the best in the industry. So, but if you have a MacBook, then it's the latest MacBook, then it is the best for developing applications. And then for projecting onto the screen, I'll be using a Chrome extension called Visor, and this is unique for if you want to develop along with me and see the results, and if you want to practice during the classes or practice after the classes, you'll be needing this. So, and I expect everyone to practice because, as I said, with practice you'll learn more. So whatever I teach, it won't be useful if you won't practice it, because you'll be forgetting these things. You'll be forgetting easily if you don't practice it. And for the projecting, I'll be using a Chrome extension called Visor for projecting. So the complete tool set is this one, and if possible, let's we can take one person to have a Play Store account. Play Store account costs money. It will cost $15. it's a nominal. It's I can say for the number of features they provide, we can say that it is a nominal fee. So if anyone is interested, we can actually develop a working application, and we can release it into the Play Store. And then it's $15. So if you can pay the money, and if you want to release an application, let's buy. Any of you can buy, and the application we make, we can release it into the Play Store. And then regarding the classes, the hours I'm thinking is from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on working days, and on weekends we'll see if we can extend the classes for more time. We can extend, but working days it will be 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and weekends we'll see based on the availability of all the persons, and based on the weekends we'll see. And right now I am thinking to cover most topics which are useful so that we'll be able to we'll be having all the knowledge to make the applications ourselves. So for such kind of knowledge, I'm thinking of 45 classes, but it will require actually not exactly 40 to 45 hours. So if we are extending on the weekends, then we can complete the classes soon. So, but at least we need 40 to 45 hours. So this is the brief about, I wanted to share brief about the classes as well as Android. So about the knowledge which I'll be teaching is, if you'll be able to make applications by yourself, and if you want to release anything what you develop, let's develop it and release it to the Play Store, and then we'll be making a set of basic applications. So at least minimum we'll be making minimum 2 applications, and if we can make more learning the topics, let's do it. So, but I'll be right now I'm thinking of 2 applications. We'll be covering those 2 applications. We'll be doing those 2 applications. So that's regarding the, that's as a brief I can say. And then, so what I will be teaching. So as I said, I'll be imparting the knowledge which is using which you can actually develop your own applications. So that is the minimum that is the guarantee I can give. But since Android is very large, it's right now it's very large. So I'll be covering only the SDK. So it's called the software development kit. So the programming languages will be Java and XML. So XML, it's a markup language, it's not exactly programming language. So we'll be using it for only layout purposes. So actual programming happens in Java itself. So Java, I can say Java has the most simplest language. So if you write properly, it will be easy to understand. So the way we develop it will be easy. We'll write proper comments, proper naming conventions. We'll use all of this which are done in the industry in real time. So we'll be using all the best practices, and even with the performance, if you don't write proper code, the performance will impact. So since the phone is a small device, if the code is not high performing, it's not proper code, the performance of the app will go down. So we'll make sure that how to review the code and how to how to use the best practices. We'll take care of those. And as I said, we'll be covering only the software development kit. And actually, whatever we develop in Java, it is actually converted into DEX format. So it is something similar to bytecode in Java. And then DEX will be run when we are running the app. This we generate an APK file. And this APK will be run inside the phone. So we won't be writing in the native code. So whatever we write, it will be in the Java, and into the native, the compiler and the build will be converted into the DEX format. Actually, I can say this. This is the native code. Java is like a layer, and we'll be converting it to the APK, and the APK will be run in the phone. So this is not exactly the native code. So, but whatever we write, it will be converted into the native code by the compiler. We won't write in the native; it will be converted into the native by the DEX format. And then what I will not be teaching is, so, and actually the common in real time, this is the most 90% of our, or else I can say that 99% of the developers will do this one only. So we'll be doing application development. So here also I think I need to be clear. We'll be doing application development. So something like so if you see a music application, it's an application. And bank example I can give, like bank applications, Foodpanda or Swiggy. So we'll be 99% of the time in real time we'll be doing these kind of applications. And what I will not be teaching is, I won't be teaching anything related to the game development, because game development is completely separate set, because we'll be doing that in sometimes we'll be using C language, and we'll be doing the programming in OpenGL, or whatever the rendering mechanisms we have for developing for rendering the graphics to the screen. So that is a complete set of skills, complete different set of skills. So which we won't be covering, and then this. So we won't be developing anything for the game development. And as I said, we'll be developing in SDK. So SDK is a layer written on top of the normal programming language. On actually if you want to say what is pure native programming, it will be actually C language. So while developing Android, this the team at Android, what they made sure is the underlying part they have developed in C language, and then they have written an SDK which the users can easily write in Java with a rich API set. But if we want to I can say like a video codecs or anything like music codec. So if you want to develop anything related to such thing, something related to this, we'll be using NDK, because such APIs are not exposed to some APIs are not exposed to the SDK level. So, but as I said, most of the things what we require will be in the SDK level itself. So I won't be covering the NDK, because first reason is, if we touch anything in NDK, you will get at this level, at least at this level, if we touch anything related to the NDK, we'll get confused a lot, because Java has a rich API set. In SDK level, we have a rich API set which we'll be using most things. Only very few things require NDK access. So as you improve your knowledge in the SDK and Android and about the performance and everything, then you can actually enter into the NDK programming. So this I will not be teaching, and here I'll be teaching, as I mentioned earlier, whatever we develop, we'll be doing it on the phones itself. We won't be covering anything related to the Android Wear, Smart TV, IoT, or this whole set. We won't be covering any of this. The reason is, so if you learn about the phones, and if you practice enough, doing anything for these things is actually easy. At least for Android Wear and Smart TVs, it's exactly what we develop for the phones. There'll be some minor differences, but if you can develop for the phones, it is exactly equal to Smart TV development. And with some more extensions, we can develop for Android Wear. And IoT, actually, I haven't developed anything in IoT or for smart cars, but there is a different set of APIs which will be needing to which will need to develop for IoT and smart cars. So here we won't be covering any of this, but if you learn good enough and if you practice enough, you can actually develop immediately after the classes. If you are able to develop for phones, immediately you can start for Android Wear or smart TVs. And IoT and smart cards, I don't have much idea, so I won't be even covering those topics. So this is the set. Yeah. So this is the topics I wanted to cover. But as I said, whatever we learn in these sessions, you will be able to make your own applications by yourself, and you'll be, so 99% of the applications will be using the knowledge I impart in the sessions. And if you learn Android, you won't have to worry about the next 5 to 10 years. As I said, if you learn for phones, Android phones will not go anywhere, and there'll be a complete set of applications which will be able to develop if we learn for Android. So if you learn just for the if we learn just for this phones itself, we'll be able to develop for richer set of electronics. Yeah. So this is the topic I wanted to cover in this session. So, and for the basics about and about how Android started and all of that, actually we don't need it exactly, but it's a group of alliance. A small basic is, it's not, Android is not just covered by, it's not being done by only Google. It is something called Open Handset Alliance, OHAC. So we call it Open Handset Alliance, which Google is considered as the one. So whatever we see always the Google name, but OHAC, Android is controlled by OHAC, but Google is the major contributor. So it has so many companies inside it, Samsung, LG, and actually it has some more than 100 companies in itself, chipset makers and handset makers, software developing companies. So there'll be always complete support of these 100+ companies. So if you get an idea that if Google wants to control everything under Android, so it won't happen, because it is under the control of 100+ companies. So this is how Android got started, and the number of companies actually in the OHAC will always increase. it won't go down. So yeah, these are the topics I wanted to cover. And regarding the programming, actually, whenever we start the classes, we'll directly jump into the we'll be covering some basics, and we'll be covering some basics into Java programming. So that's why that's how we'll start. So the basics will be like what is the set of tools, how to install the set of tools, tool set, and then a brief about the Java programming language. That will be very brief, maybe for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, because you can easily understand. You can, as we program, you can easily understand. And about the XML also, XML doesn't even need 20 minutes, but as we develop, we can actually understand. So in half an hour, I'll try to cover this regarding the how we use Java and XML, and then regarding and some more time for the toolset for toolset installation and everything related to that. So that's how we'll start, and then as we progress, it will be completely into the we'll be programming. So we'll see the real-time results. So as we program, we'll see the real-time results. So the set of topics on the first day of the class, I'll try to share the set of topics which I'll be covering. So as I said, we'll need 40 to 45 hours. In 45 hours, actually, we can cover most of all of the topics which I planned. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say in this session. Yeah. So do you want to know anything more, or have any?
Yes, I just want to know one thing. So, what is meant by native Android? So, native Android, you're not going to tell about native Android, right?
Yeah, native Android in the sense, if you see the if you see Sencha or this what do we call them? Sencha or PhoneGap. Yeah. So these are applications. Yeah. So these are something we develop in HTML and JS. So and this will be bundled into the application. So this we won't call it as the native development at all. So this won't be converted into the DEX code.
Okay.
So, but whatever we write it in Java, so as I said, everyone, all of us, we develop at least in SDK itself. So usually we call this as the native development platform, because what we write in Java, it will be actually converted into the DEX code. So it will be converted to the native code by the compiler. We won't do it. But actual NDK is it's a rich set of it's not actually rich set. It's actually done in C language. So it will be it's actually at the lower level only if we want to access anything at the Linux kernel level. So we'll need it. But usually we call this as the native programming language. Actually, everyone calls this part as the native programming. But technically, if you want to take pure technical, this is the pure native. This level and the C level is the pure native. So,
yeah, because I have seen in that like native Android is different and like Android is like different. So I mean I have seen job requirements like we need native Android too. So I just have a doubt like both are different or yeah.
So if you see anywhere at the as a native Android development, so they'll be referring to this part. So you can see my screen, right?
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
So the selected part, they'll be meaning about this, unless they specifically mention this NDK.
Okay.
So only if they mention this part, then you need to worry. But most of the applications, most of these job portals or anything, when they say native, it is about this part. What will be learning? So NDK we need only anything if we want to access at the kernel level or the codec level. If you see the video codec, if you take this YouTube application, the the video player will be there, right? So it needs so much performance, and then so many APIs. It won't be actually. These things will be developed in only once, and they'll be using that many times at the C level. So even they can use the same code at the uh, for the iOS also, iOS native code also. So they can use the tweaks. So that is the which is related to the Linux directly. It's called we call it the actual native development kit. So so you don't have to worry about when you see that native development. They are referring to this Java part, Java and XML part. So only if they want specifically this knowledge, they'll mention it as NDK programming.
And I have a doubt, like, so what is meant by like Sencha, PhoneGap, Xamarin, Accelerator? So all these are like tools, or are we going to learn them? Or,
so Sencha is actually a framework. So Sencha, PhoneGap, Accelerator. So those we can call simply as a framework. So what's the difference between this one and Sencha framework is? So this one, whatever we develop, it will be converted into the DEX format. So it will be converted into the native format by the compiler, and the performance will be here. App performance will be very huge. And this is a comparative statement. When I say its performance is high, it's a comparative statement. And when you develop for Sencha or any of this, it will be done in usually in. So I know about at least Sencha and PhoneGap. This will be done in HTML and JS. So this won't be converted into the DEX code. So it will be packaged as an APK itself, application kit, application programming kit, something it's called. So it will be packaged with an APK, but there is something called WebView in Android. So where we can see the web pages, and using some API, using some internal APIs, Sencha APIs and PhoneGap APIs. So and using the native WebView. So this will be rendered onto the phone using WebView. This will be rendered onto the phone. So since it is not being converted into the DEX code, the performance will be comparatively is very low. And if you start developing in Sencha or PhoneGap, the number of issues which you get is it will be very high, because if there is something you need, suppose if you want to make any camera application, so let's say the application, I'll give an example. Let's say the application is a camera filter icon similar to Instagram. So since the WebView, since these web applications will have limited access to camera, when you develop in Sencha or PhoneGap, you can simply do that in HTML or JS. And if you want to do, and always it will be defined, always whether you can do or not, it will be defined this framework creators. So only if Sencha supports it, you will be able to use it. So, in this camera, as I said, in the camera application, if Sencha is supporting the camera framework, you will be able to develop in this. And even after you develop, as I said, the performance will be very low. And if there is an issue, so as in the same example, if you are making this camera photo filtering icon using cameras, so even if you are making this photo filtering application with cameras, you will just a minute. Using cameras, if you get any issue, it will be always dependent on this framework creator. So first they will have to fix the issue, and then you can use it in the application. You can actually fix the application. So actually, in my company, they created a few applications in Sencha, and it was long back. They created around 2 years back. So, and we saw so many issues because of this Sencha framework, and all the issues were dependent on the framework. So only when the framework gets fixed, issues in the framework get fixed, we'll be able to make a fix and send it to the production. So if you want to have a high performance and properly supported application, you shouldn't choose any of these. But the only advantage which you get because of this Sencha PhoneGap applications is you can develop both for Android and iOS at the same time. So the same code for Android, it will be packaged as APK, and it will for Apple devices, iPhone devices, it will be converted to the IPA files. So whatever you develop, it will be, you can use both in Android and iOS, but there will be, suppose if something is not supported in iOS and something is supported in only Android, you'll have to write some custom codes and custom plugins. So using that, you can actually develop for both using single code base. So this is the only advantage which you will get out of Sencha PhoneGap. But yeah, that is the trade-off you want to make. So if a company is a very small company and they want to make application for Android and iOS with very low cost, then they can go for Sencha or PhoneGap or Appcelerator. But if performance is important for them and the experience-wise it is important for them, then they have to choose the native development, whether it's Android or iPhone, they have to choose the native development. So as the real-time example is the applications in my old applications in my own company. So did that answer you, Shanu?
Yeah, sir. I have another doubt that without knowing these any of the application frameworks like Sencha and PhoneGap and Appcelerator, so can we create any apps using only Android, or do we have to know more about like these applications that will be helpful or not?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
By learning the Sencha, PhoneGap, and Appcelerator frameworks, so is it helpful for Android or is just an
So when you do in Sencha, it will be in HTML and JS, and the support also will be less. So as the support will be less, for the production your support will not be proper. So if it is a product company, usually, so if someone asks me for a suggestion, I'll ask them not to take Sencha PhoneGap. I'll ask them to take native development. So that's one thing, because app performance and the experience. So that's the main point. If you take any banking applications or the food applications, if you see, everything will be in the native development. And so if you learn Sencha PhoneGap, you can, you said this native development jobs, right? You can't take this. That's the second thing. And the third thing is, when you develop Sencha PhoneGap, you will be doing this in HTML and JS. So, and as I said, when you have to develop something for, let's say this a specific feature, I'll say this as X feature, and it has support in. This is just an example. I don't have any particular feature in mind, but this is just an example. So X feature name, let's say it is X, and it has support only in Android, and it has no support in iOS by the kit itself. Let's say this some kind of app notifications. Example, yeah, I can take an example as app notifications. So Android offers a rich set of customization tools which you can support for the app notifications. but iOS doesn't support app notifications. The experience they give with app notifications is very minor compared to Android. So if something, so here the example is which is specific to Android, which there is no support in Android, iOS. So such things you'll have to write plugins in native code again. So if you are learning only this part, you won't be able to write the native code. So a native code, I mean this Java. I can't say about the XMLs whether you will. It depends on the requirement, but this is the part you'll be writing the native code. And this is one example. And the other example is, let's say this is a Y feature, and again I don't right now I don't have any particular feature in mind for this example. But let's say if there is support in both Android and iOS, but there is no support by example, let's say this Sencha, no support by Sencha. So such things, again, since Sencha is not supporting that particular features, you will have to write plugin for this, and that will be again, it will be in native code. So when you take up, if you take up this Sencha or PhoneGap, or if you're developing anything in Sencha or PhoneGap, you will always be dependent on this the framework people. So whatever, if the requirement gets complex, you'll have to write plugins in the native code. Again, you'll have to learn this part. So, and if you learn this part, you don't have to actually think about supporting Sencha or PhoneGap. So as I said, if there is any client requirement, and if it is a service-based company, and if there is client requirement, and if they want only in Sencha for cost cutting, so we can't say no to them. But always, if it is a product company, as I come from a product background, so I always suggest native programming for the app performance, and not just for the app performance, and the support for the Android. Support from even this Android framework, if you say this Android framework or platform, so the support will be very high. So whatever, so if there is any 100 set of features being developed by Android, after the complete set is developed, this Sencha has to develop such things in HTML, so it can be written in JS. So once Android develops, these guys have to develop the support and then give to us. So, and again, they can't do complete these 100 features. So again, if they do this 100 features, they'll only take a subset, and they won't support it. So if they develop only, let's say I'll take an example of 60. So if they only support 60 features, remaining features, 40 features, if you want to develop anything, again, you have a dependency on either Sencha people, or you have to write your own plugins to connect to the native part. So yeah, as I said, if there is any client requirement, we can't do anything. But if there is any product company or and for whom performance is important and support is important, a native way is the proper way to go.
Okay. So are you going to teach the frameworks along with Android, or only Android?
No, I won't be covering any of this, because this is a complete different set of skills, and in the 40 to 45 classes, we'll be covering a good set of Android, but it won't, and we won't be covering any of this.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Okay. So, Yasir, are you online?
Yeah, I don't have any doubt.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. So, yeah.
Do we need to have
Can you be loud or can you type? I can't hear you, Yasir. Can you please type here? I can't hear you.
Can you listen me?
Your voice is very low. I can hardly hear it. Yeah, please go ahead.
I have sent you.
Yeah. Okay. So development will be, we can do it in the, so okay, I can't share you my, I'm sharing only this notepad application. So right now I can share you the Android Studio. So in Android Studio we have a concept called emulator. So which is actually, it's like a device itself. It's like it's similar to a Android device. It will contain the stock Android. So for development, we won't need exactly, if you talk about development, we won't need Android phone. We can always immediately we can run in the emulator itself. And even if we need, right now the support for emulator has increased, and the use cases and everything, they have increased for emulator. So even if we need any applications related to camera or some camera specific to the device, we can actually do it in the emulator itself. And if there is anything related to the example SMS feature or few features, we can't do it in the emulator. But most of the things, and the things which I'm planning to the applications which we want to develop, the two applications which I was saying, I want to cover it in the, I want to cover those things we can develop in the emulator itself. We can immediately run in the emulator. But the only problem with the emulator is if you are running this Android Studio and emulator, both of the things will require so much RAM. So your development performance will be less, and the system performance also will go down. So if possible, actually I'll be showing oh, just give me a minute. So yeah, that's sorry. So I'll show how to, yeah, my PC has 8 GB RAM and yeah, i7, yeah. So minimum 8 GB RAM is required for Android Studio. Yeah, that will be fine. But even if it is a 8 GB RAM, we need so it's good if you have an Android phone, so that the performance, your development performance will be good. And for Android Studio, 8 GB RAM is yours will be sufficient. And you said you'll be doing, yeah. And emulator, I'll be showing how to start the emulator, how to generate the emulator and everything. But my development, I'll be showing everything in the phone itself. So because while teaching, at least I need good performance speed to show you. I'll be covering everything in the phone, but I'll explain how to do it in the emulator also. But that I'll just show you. But actual thing I'll be doing in the phone. So if you want to in real time, in the companies when you join, they'll give you the test phones. So at least in the company you don't have to worry about the phones. Yeah, yeah. Did that answer, Yasir?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So any more questions?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so then I'll end this discussion then. So yeah. So Karthik from Invicit, I think he will update you on next steps. So, I'm
Okay, thank you,
disconnecting.
sir.
Yeah, thank you.